Today we are here to talk about my reading plans for 2023. So this is a time for me to set some intention. I used to do like 20 books I want to read in 2020, that kind of a thing. And I don't really follow that anymore because it just felt like it put too much pressure on me to get a certain group of books read in a year. And I'm always, if you follow this channel, you know, I'm trying to kind of thread the needle between having some structure because that helps me stay excited about reading and kind of keep my pace up, so to speak. I think if I have no structure, I tend to be like, I don't know what to read, and I just kind of get lost in the sea of books I have. But I'm also a mood reader, so I found that the key to success for me is trying to have a good balance between some structure that is basically designed to give a lot of room to mood read. So, you know, I'm expecting that I'll have a lot of projects that come up throughout the year. I have 2 that have kind of spontaneously arisen in December. So you'll be seeing those in January and February. So I won't talk about them because they're already in progress. But I thought we could talk about some of my goals and kind of intentions for 2023. So, okay, a couple of just general thoughts of things that I would like to focus on in 2023. Number one is, I think that I would like to try to find some intentional rereading projects. So in the last 18 months, 2 years, I've had 2 series rereading or catch-up projects that I have done via my podcast, which is Changeling Cast. Side note, I have not decided what season 3 of that podcast is going to be. So you'll know when I know. But they've, especially the Side Changeling season, really let me do a lovely reread where I had structured into my reading plan that I was going to be doing this reread. That also happened when I was doing Project Poirot or Mission Marple. I like having intentional rereading baked into things. I'm trying to open up space to do that for maybe not specifically series. And it's not that I never reread things, but I think I rarely reread books that are chunkier or more difficult, more demanding, whatever, because I'm very focused on reading new things. I mean, for one, that's just fun. For 2, often I have arcs coming in and it's also just a part of the channel. And then 3, you know, I'm looking for favorites and I have so many books that I own that I've not read that I'm excited about. So it's not that I'm reading new books is for the birds. I don't want to do that anymore. It's more that I think that it would be helpful if I kind of purposely gave myself some rereading projects. So I'm still trying to figure out exactly what that looks like. I'm thinking I might do a couple of rereading. Sorry, they've been working on my water all day and I hear it coming back into the pipes and it's a very bizarre noise. It sounds like somebody flushed the toilet, but I'm here by myself, so that's terrifying. You know what? Let's just go make sure that I don't have water coming out of anywhere it should not be. Hold please. Woohoo! I have water again, thank God, because I was building up some dirty dishes and that would have been a real issue. We were impacted by that cold blast at the end of December. You're seeing this in January, but I'm filming this in December. We were impacted by that and all the coldness was not good for the pipes here in Tennessee. They did not infrastructure-wise build us to withstand those kinds of temperatures. Okay, anyway, I think I was talking about rereading. So yeah, I'm thinking I might do a couple of rereading weeks and maybe make that a vlog project, or maybe I'll invite you guys to reread or to read some books with me and do a live show. I haven't quite decided what that's gonna look like, but I think it would be good for me to set that as a goal. So for instance, a book that comes to mind that I would love to reread is The Rook by Daniel O'Malley. I just finished the 3rd book, which was not my favorite, but it made me remember God, I love The Rook and it's been so long since I've read it. And I don't think I've ever reread that one. So things like that, where I don't want to read a full series, but I just have 1 or 2 books I'd like to reread. I think that is something I would like to do in 2023. So there's that. Another kind of overall goal I have is that I've started tracking my series reading a lot more intentionally, which has been great because I think that has been the thing about tracking. I know not everybody enjoys tracking. I'm not saying you have to do that. I do love a spreadsheet, so that is part of it. But the nice thing about tracking is that it does bring awareness, at least for me. Like, it helps me live in reality about what the situation is. So I really enjoyed doing that. And I have a few specific series things I really want to make progress on or finish this year. We'll talk about that when we get to specific books on my plans for next year. But one thing that I've kind of like come to awareness of is how many series I have in progress. And some of them, you know, I'm caught up with. So I feel good about that. Like, I have, oh God, I want to say that I think I have like 65-ish series in flight as of this filming, and I think I'm caught up on like 28 of them. So like not quite half and half, but a good chunk of them I caught up with. And some I even like finished this year. So I think I started in August, I think I had like 45 active series that I'm either behind on or I'm in progress on. So behind meaning it's still active and books are still coming out and I'm behind, or in progress meaning the series is complete but I haven't finished it yet. So I had like, I think 45-ish in August, and right now I think I have around 37. So my goal is by the end of next year, because I know for a fact that I'm gonna start new series next year. I would like by the end of 2023 to only have 30 series that I'm behind on or in progress on, because I think that's kind of gonna become a longer term goal for me over the next like probably 4 years. My ultimate goal is to at any given time only have like 5 to 10 that I'm behind on or in progress with, just because that I think will give me, well, that segues into my next goal nicely, but I think I have a lot of things that I started at one point and I'm still interested in them, but I don't know that Mara today would have chosen to start them, or I don't know that they totally fit like my reading tastes and moods as of right now, but I'm invested in them enough that I want to finish them. And what I would like to do is get to a point where I'm starting series that I'm able to stay excited and fresh on series a little bit more and stay up to date with ones that are exciting to me and start ones that are exciting to me and have them be more aligned with what I'm in the mood to read kind of the moment within like a year or two versus like 5 to 10 years, which is the situation with some of these. It's not good, guys. And that actually segues, like I was saying, nicely into the third kind of like intention or goal I have in mind, which is I was watching a video from Sam, and I forget which one, from Thoughts on Tome. I'll try to remember which one it was and I'll link it. But she was talking about how basically, if you follow her channel, she like was on a journey to like really read down her TBR and have like very few books on her TBR that she owns physically that she's not read, which is great. That's a great journey for her. That's not what I'm wanting to do. But part of when she was talking about that and how that has made this year a great year of reading for her, 2022 was a really good reading year for her, it made me reflect on the fact that like, I think part of what is happening with my physical TBR is I just have like a cohort of them that I've had for a really long time at this point. Some of that is because at the very beginning of when I joined BookTube, I went hog wild on Book Outlet, and I did get things that I'm still interested in. Like, I have done enough unhauling at this point. If I truly had no interest in them, they would be gone by now. So it's not that I have no interest in them, it's just that they're not, like I was saying, they're not fresh anymore. And I think what I would like to do in 2023 is focus on reading those books or unhauling them. Like, I've seen some people do kind of the concept of like, this book will explode in however long, that if I've not read it by then, it has to go. This isn't quite to that level, but I have identified, like I was doing a big TBR cleanup, because I always do that at the end of the year. I clean up my spreadsheet and make sure like I don't have dupes in there, or this year I was delighted to realize I did have a bunch of duplicates and I had accidentally classified some things as being on my active TBR that were actually reference books, like things that I have because I want to reference them at some point. Oh, that was so exciting in terms of like reducing the number of books that I am planning to read cover to cover. When I was doing that, part of what I did is sort on were books that I've had, like I sorted by books I've had the longest. So I've identified 10 of those that I would like to read this year. And I'm actually not even going to tell you guys what they are, because I think that will create too much of like, this is a set TBR. And that's not really what that is meant to do. It's more just an awareness factor for myself. So like I've noted them in the spreadsheet, and like I'm going to try to prioritize getting contributing to those. Along with, I did a wrap my TBR video, and you guys had a bunch of cool suggestions. I have some ideas about ways to use the 30 books that I wrapped up this year, and I'm gonna make that a priority because in looking through my TBR and the age of a lot of them, it turned out that a lot of the ones that I had wrapped are in the age range of being some of the oldest books on my TBR. So again, that just tells me they're just not as fresh at this point. I do think that wrapping them will create some new freshness around them and like the excitement of opening them up. But like between that list of 10 and those 30 I wrapped, I think if I could read or DNF/unhaul most of those by the end of 2023, I would feel really good about my TBR being in a fresher place. And again, I think this is going to take a couple of years, so like I may do a similar thing next year, because looking at the age of these books, that would take me up through my TBR that I acquired more 5 years ago or longer by the end of 2023. And I think if I did that again for 2024 and made it more of a like 2 to 3 years, older than 2 to 3 years, I think that that would be a good strategy to get back to a place where the books I have acquired within the last, let's say 18 to 2 years for the most part, and therefore feel aligned with what I'm currently interested in reading, things that are buzzy, etc. So those are kind of like my more conceptual goals for the year. I have some other ideas about like, I have a big backlog of audio that I've not gotten to because I've started working from home in the last, God, it's coming up on 3 years. How did I do this? How did I survive in corporate America before working from home, guys? I will never know. Anyway, I've been working from home for almost 3 years, and so I used to listen to so much more audio on my commute and then like at work while I was focusing on things, and I just don't do that as much now. So I think I might need to make a project to like focus on that, so that's kind of on my radar. Another like refocusing thing is I don't think I made a ton of progress this year reading Roberts. I have not pulled my stats. That will be in my stats and superlative video, which I don't know if you will have seen by now or not. But anyway, I'll talk about how I actually did, but my feeling is that I didn't make as much progress on reading Roberts this year as I wanted to, which is where I'm trying to read everything Nora Roberts has ever written or DNF it. Read it or DNF it is the plan. So I didn't make as much progress on that in 2022, so I would like to do that in 2023. So those are sort of my like overarching goals. And now let's segue into some specific books I'm looking to read. So first of all, for the Blades and Bodice Ripper book club, we meet 4 times a year, so we will have 4 books. I know the one for January is Lud in the Mist by Hope Mirrlees. And this is a classic, this is a pre-Tolkien fantasy novel. So it's sort of a classic of fantasy, and we're tentatively looking at doing sort of like old backlist of different genres that we all enjoy reading. So like, I'm guessing Amanda might do a romance one. I'm gonna pick, I've got an idea, but I'm gonna pick a old Golden Age of detective fiction mystery for us to read, and then I think Bethany will pick like a horror. I've got 4 books that I will read for that book club. I also have Workbook Club. I think the first book is that one that just came out from Celeste Ng, one with the feather on the cover. I need to get that, but anyway. So that I'll do as a buddy read. Leanna and I will be finishing The Realm of the Elderlings this spring. So I've got 3 books. I've got A Fool's Assassin, Fool's Quest, and Assassin's Fate as the final stretch of Realm of the Elderling that Leanna and I will read together. And then I forgot to pull it, but we are also going to read the Joe Abercrombie, the original, what is it? The Blade Itself, the First Law series. So I've read The Blade Itself and really enjoyed it, but it's been several years now. See, this gets back into like when you let too many series pile up, you forget things and then you have to go back and do a reread because it's been too much time. So we're gonna do a reread of The Blade Itself and then a reread for her, but a first read for me of the next 2 books in that trilogy. So that is another buddy read situation. She and I usually do a live stream once we finish series over on her channel, so you can keep an eye out for that. So that is on my list. Let's see here, what else? I'm looking at my little post-it to remind me of all my goals. Okay, I have 2 books left on my current round of 5-star prediction reading. So I have The Word is Murder by Anthony Horowitz, and I have the first book in a series that inspired Nalini Singh to write Psy Changeling. This is called Crystal Soldier. It's the Leiden universe. So I've also found out though that this was a prequel to what was the original series. So it's technically the first in the universe, but it's not the original one she read. So if I don't like this, I still think I will probably try reading whatever that book was. Anyway, these are the 2 left on my 5-star predictions that I need to read before I do a new round of 5-star predictions. And then I definitely want to make more progress on the Barsetshire Chronicles by Anthony Trollope. So the next one is Dr. Thorne and then Framley Parsonage. I'm thinking that I'm going to read one of these every six-ish months. And so that means I have 2 for 2023 and then 2 for 2024. But I don't know, now that I'm looking at this, maybe I'll up this. Maybe I'll try to do all 4 of them next year, like 1 a quarter. That might be doable. I might do that. I'm gonna do that. We're upping, we're gonna finish this series off in 2023. Why not? I'm really enjoying them. They're nerdy, they're very readable for classics, and they're very nerdy church history so far in terms of their content. So like, let's go for it. Balls to the wall. Something else I wanna do is, I've mentioned before that I think long term, I see myself as a translated fiction kind of girly. And I do, I mean, I read how to say this. I think for an American, I read a decent amount of fiction and translation. Is that maybe a way to say that? Not a ton, or maybe I have read in my lifetime a good amount. But I think I could definitely be reading more. And I think especially once, again, this gets back to my theme of like, once I've kind of cleared my backlog of things that I'm interested in reading, that is something I see for myself as like, in the next 10 years, becoming increasingly a translated fiction kind of girly. But for this year, I have a number of mysteries that I have that I think all of these are originally from Japan, if I'm remembering rightly. I'm sorry if I've messed any of those up, but I have all these 4 plus one called Malice. I can't find, I might have it as an ebook that I'm thinking about doing like a specific vlog. Let me know if you guys would be interested in like Japanese mystery vlog, but in general, I'm looking to read, I have several mysteries that are in translation, but particularly like Asian mysteries in translation is what I'm thinking for 2023. Yeah, anyway, because I increasingly actually read a lot of fantasy set in or inspired by Asian culture. I'm not reading a ton of mystery that's in that kind of realm or translated from another language, so I think that might be kind of fun. And I think, from what I understand, Japan in particular, like, they love a murder mystery. Like, they love an Agatha Christie, so I think I'm manifesting that I'm gonna vibe with Japanese mystery in a way that I've always wanted to and never have vibed with Scandi mystery. There's been like 1 or 2 I like okay, but I always want to like that sort of tradition of mystery from, you know, Finland and Sweden and all of those guys. I always want to like it more than I ever seem to actually like it. So anyway, I am manifesting that me and Japan and the rest of Asia are gonna go on a mystery journey in 2023. That's gonna be great. Okay, and then what else? Oh, yeah, okay. Then we have one of my more ambitious plans. Hold please, I didn't pull this book. So a few years ago, I bought this chunky edition of the collected essays of George Orwell. And I'm thinking, I don't know how I want to do this exactly, but I'm thinking a project of reading this over the course of 2023, like an essay a day. I don't know, I probably need to go through here and do like a count of how many we're talking about. And then I don't know if anybody would be interested in a vlog, a discussion, a group read, I don't know. But this is a 1,400 page book. But you know, if I literally am reading it for an entire year, that is achievable. That's like 4-ish pages a day, 3-ish pages a day, 3.5, 4, somewhere in there, which I think is doable, right? That seems achievable. So I don't know. That's something that I'm thinking about. Like I'm gonna do this, but if you guys would be interested in some kind of read along discussion vlog, I don't know. Let me know if that's of any interest to anyone. I know that's a big chunky book. And what else? Do I have any other? Oh, yes. I picked one arc that I have in physical form as a representative placeholder. Of course, I'm gonna read the advanced reader copies that I request and or receive. So I always say that I want to read fewer of these every year, and I never seem to do it. Theoretically, I want to read fewer arcs this year and focus on the ones that I'm genuinely really excited about, want to make a plan and time for, but I always get excited. Like, I have shiny objects syndrome with arcs, so there's a very good chance that that will continue. But, you know, insert a placeholder for like 40-ish books. That's my theoretical target, like 40-ish books that I'm gonna read in advance, also on the TBR. And yeah, so those are some of my thoughts and intentions. I like the word intention rather than plan. Those are some of my intentions for 2023. Let me know what you thought about any of these intentions. If you think that I am a fool, I mean, keep in mind, guys, I read like 300-ish books a year. That seems to be sort of like a happy place that I'm settling into. Between 250 and 300 books a year. So I think that nothing I've described is not achievable, but we'll find out. Should I ever do? I don't think I've ever reacted to my original plans. Maybe I should. That might be a video idea. Let me know if you'd be interested in me reacting to what I said last year and see if I actually did them. But let me know what you guys are thinking for 2023. If you've got any intentions, plans, TBR, etc. I asked you a couple of questions about things you might be interested in. So if you have thoughts about any of that, let me know that in the comments below. And yeah, I think that will do it for me. So if you enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe, follow me on the social medias if you are so inclined. I have all that information listed in the description box below, and I think that will do it. I hope you're having an absolutely lovely day today, and I will just talk to you soon. Bye!